Good morning. So last time we have started with dam-free vibration cases, and we have seen there are three different cases for dam-free vibration case. First, what we have described is overdamped free vibration case when the roots are real and distinct. And this condition also we have established, which is the C square is greater than 4 mk. Second condition, second case, what we have described last time is critically damped condition when the roots of the differential equation are real and equal. In this case, we have defined this particular condition C square, which becomes equal to 4 mk. If you still summarize, C is equal to twice under root of mk. This I am supposed to say my damping for the critical conditions. So it is a critical damping coefficient. So that is I'm denoting as C suffix CR. This is applicable only when your damping is critical damp. Third case, what we have seen is underdamped condition when the roots are complex conjugates, and the condition what we have established is that is C square is less than 4 mk. So these three conditions we have seen last time, and now we need to see in detail how to establish the equation to find out the displacement under all three conditions of damp-free vibration. So today we are going to see this. So this is we have established. Now let's start with case 2. So first I am taking this case to establish this. So first I am starting with this because this will be become the base point when my roots are, or the value is C is equal to twice mk. So I am taking this as a base, and then after I will explain this and this. Okay. So first let us try to define the case number 2, right? So as we have said, the case number 2 is said critically damped condition when the roots are real and equal. Then this equation, that is C square by 4m square is equal to omega square, should be there, right? So if you see this, then this equation has been written C square by 4m square is equal to omega square. So the C is equal to twice m omega. So if you find out the root for this, so what will be the value of this S1 and S2? If you remember, the equation for S1 and S2 is minus C by 2m plus or minus under root of C square by 4m square minus omega square. This was the equation what we have already seen while we have started. So basically, if you put this equals to 0, then my both the root of value S1 and S2, which will be nothing but minus C by 2m. So this is minus C by 2m. Now from this relation, if you see, this C is there and 2m will go in this side. So the C by 2m is equal to omega. So this C by 2m I'm replacing with the omega. So this will become minus omega, and which is equals to S2. So S1 and S2 is the same in this case because the roots are real and equal. Now you need to find out the differential equation, which is a second order differential equation where its roots are real and equal. What will be the form of differential equation? So if you find out the form of differential equation from the mathematics book, then you will find this particular form. This form says x of t is equal to e raised to st upon into a plus bt, where the s, that is the root, I am putting this value of s, which is nothing but omega, right, or minus omega. So this equation will become e raised to minus omega t into a plus bt, right? Now here also you will find two constant a and b, which are my arbitrary constant, and this particular arbitrary constant I need to find out with help of the initial boundary conditions, what we have done in the first case, which is the undamped free vibration case. Same way I'm going to find out this value of a and b. So let us do this, right? So if you put x is equal to t is equal to 0, x at t is equal to 0, I'm supposed to say it is a x0. And similarly, x dot at t is equal to 0, I'm supposed to say it is a x dot 0. Now, let us put this equation x at t is equal to 0 in this equation. So this will become e raised to 0. So it is 1 into a plus b into 0 is 0. So remaining is a. So x at t is equal to 0 is equal to x0, which is equals to a, right? Now, to find out this component, let us take the derivation. First, you can say take dx by dt of this particular equation. So I'm trying to find out the x dot here. This x dot will be, you have two functions. One is this and other is this, right? So the first, when you are finding out derivative, what I'm doing is, first I'm taking the derivative of first function, second function as it is. And in the second term, I will take the derivative of this, and this function will be as it is. So let us define first, take the derivative of this. So omega will come out. So minus omega into e raised to omega t. Second term will be as it is. So I'm putting the same term. Then first term will plus, first term will be as it is. And this is, you can say this is constant, b is, t is constant, so only remaining is b. So x dot of t will be this. Now in the same way, you need to put t is equal to 0 into the equation. So if you put x dot at t is equal to 0, which I suppose to say it is a x0 dot, put these values here. So minus omega e raised to 0 is 1. So minus omega will be out. A plus b0, so 0. So minus omega a will come. So I put here minus omega a. You can see this is minus omega a. Now here you put e raised to minus omega t. So e raised to 0 is 1 into b, which is b. So I'm putting the b here. Now what you need to do is replace this a with the x0. You have already find out. Can you see this? You have already here, you have found out a is x0. So you can replace with the x0s, and this b value will be this. Put this value of a and b into this original equation, which is this. This will give you the complete solution of this particular differential equation or motion. So this will be my complete equation. X of t is equal to e raised to omega t. A is x0. So x0 plus b. B is already found out, this and t. So this will be your final form of equation. So from this, you can actually find out the response of vibrating system, which is vibrating in a critical damp conditions. So then you can actually take the response of this, and you can find out the displacement at all time t with help of this formula. So if you want to plot, let's say, a response of this, then the response will be looking like this. So if you closely see this equation, then this equation is having a two part. One is this, which is exponentially decreasing function with respect to increasing in time t. Okay, as I'm increasing the time t, the first form of this equation which says e raised to minus omega t. See, minus will be decreasing term. As my value of t will increases, this will give you decrease in my amplitude. And this is nothing but it is the polynomial term, right? This is my polynomial term. So this particular term will say me, this is my polynomial term and this is my exponential term. Okay. Now in the polynomial term, as the value of t is increasing, my amplitude should be increasing. But now what is having the more weightage? Of course, exponential terms should have a more weightage, right, than the polynomial term. So basically this particular term is going to govern if I summarize these two equations together. So if you see this equation, and if you find out the various, if you put the various value of t here, like t is equal to 0, t is equal to 0.5, 1, 1.5 and so on, then you can have the value of x of t versus various value of t. So I'm plotting x of t versus various value of t and try to draw the response. The response will be this. So it will start from some value of x0. So this is my value of x0. And it may have a three different possibility. Let's first discuss this possibility. Like first is the response will be like this, right? Because this exponential term will actually decrease my amplitude, but this line will not touch this x line. You can see these two lines never touch. It will be tends to 0 but never be 0, right? Please keep in mind, right? Now if you see here, it may be a three possibility in this case. One is this, it may go up, so where x0 dot is positive, or it may go down where the x0 dot is negative, or it may start with a flat like this where the slope angle is what you can say exactly horizontal, where the x0 dot is 0. But in all three cases, if you see, there will not be any oscillation like this. You can say this is not like oscillations. So this is not an oscillating body. So this is not going to happen because of exponential term is there, which is trying to decrease your amplitude with respect to time t. And because of this, the oscillation is not going to happen. So this is very, very important word. In this case, there is no oscillation is going to happen. What do you mean by this? If you relate this with the physical case in which you are putting the damping into the vibrating system in a such a way that the damping value or the damping is exactly equal to what has been required, and so that your value of vibration will be stopped at some point of time, or it will become so negligible. So the amplitude of the vibration is becoming so negligible because of this, you can say the value of damping, which is in the case of critical damping, right? So this is my case number 1. Now let us go to the case number 1. This we have talked about case number 2, which is a critical damping. Now let us move to the case number 1, which is overdamped cases. Now overdamped cases I'm supposed to define with respect to the critical damping, because the critical damping I'm supposed to assume as a base. And if suppose my value of C, if you take the C is equal to this value, C is equal to this, then it becomes a critical. But when I'm taking C is greater than this value, then it becomes overdamped. If I consider the C is less than this value, then it becomes underdamped. So I am taking base as a critical damp. And based upon that, I will explain now what is overdamped and underdamped. Okay. So let's see the case number 1, which is my overdamped case. So in this, the condition we have established is C square up is greater than 4mk from this particular equation, which is C square by 4m square minus omega square is greater than 0. Now, if you see, when I can say C is equal to my critical damping, when CCR or the value of C, which becomes equal to 4mk, or I will say this particular equation will going to become equal to 0. Then I can take the value of C, which is equals to CCR, because I have already said it is a critical damping when it becomes equal here. So if I am putting equal sign here, equal to 0 here, then this C in this equation I can replace with the CCR. So the CCR square upon 4m square minus omega square is equal to 0. This equal sign is very, very important. I can put equal, then only I can replace this C value with the CCR, critical damping. So my CCR is nothing but twice into m omega. Okay, this is very clear. That is equation number 1. Okay. Now, second equation I'm supposed to define, second definition I'm supposed to define, which is any damping value with respect to the ratio of damping value to the critical damping. Now, this damping may be overdamped or underdamped or critical damp, whatever you take, divided by the critical damp value, right? So this ratio, the given value of damping to the critical damping coefficient, which will give you the value, that is, I'm supposed to say it is a eta, which is called as the damping ratio. So in some of the book, this damping ratio has been given with the notation psi, or some book it has been given with the notation capital D. So I have written this too, but however, for our purpose, we will actually take the value of eta in the further equations. So we will take, you can see the value of eta, which is equation is the ratio of given value of C upon critical value, which is called as the damping ratio. Fine. Let us see that. So if suppose I will say the critical damping, then what will be the value of eta? Eta is equal to C value is equal to CCR. So CCR will gone. So this value will be 1. This is for critical damping, right? If eta is less than 1, it means it is an underdamped case. And if eta is greater than 1, it means it is overdamped case, right? Because your C value is greater than the whatever the value of CR, then it is overdamped. This is underdamped, right? So let us give to the original equation. If you see the original equation of S12, which is the roots, what we have defined is minus C by 2m plus or minus at the root of C square by 4m square minus omega square. Now I am putting the value of C with this formula. Okay. So CCR, I am replacing the C with help of the CCR from this equation. You can see this. CCR is equal to twice m omega, and eta is equal to C upon CCR. So C is equal to what? Eta into CCR, right? C is equal to eta into CCR. So this I am replacing in this equation. So whenever the value of C is there, I am replacing with eta into CCR. So you can see this C I am replacing with eta into CCR divided by 2m plus or minus eta square CCR square, right? Twice m4 into m square, I can put 4m square minus omega square. If they have taken 1 by 2 out, then this will be minus 4m square, and this, if you do not want to put, you keep it as it is, just to replace C with the eta into CCR, right? Now, if you take it out, the value of omega here out, right? How will you take the omega out? This you can actually calculate from this. The CCR upon twice m is equal to omega. Can you see CCR upon twice m? So if you just, I will just cancel it out this. So this will become 4m square, and this 4 will go on, right? This 4 will go on. So this will be the equation. So eta square upon 4m square, right? So you can see from this equation, omega is equal to CCR upon twice m, right? So if you see here, CCR upon 4m square is there, so it becomes the omega square. Am I right? This will becomes the omega square. So omega square, if I'm taking out, so then it will, if it comes outside, it will become omega, and remaining is eta square minus 1. So this equation will come. So this will be minus eta. This is also I'm replacing with omega. So this will be omega as per the previous equation. So minus eta omega plus or minus omega into under root of eta square minus 1. Now this frequency, you can see this is your natural circular frequency, but it is with eta square function. So I am defining this particular function as one more frequency, that is called as this. So this frequency I am supposed to give a name, which is omega d cap. Okay, this is omega d cap, and the value of this equals to omega under root of eta square minus 1. So in your free vibration, whatever the circular frequency was there, it is being changed with the addition of value of damping ratio. Since in this you are changing the value of damping, and hence this value will come into the consideration. So this value will be called as overdamped frequency. So if I'm replacing, please remember this, this is very, very important. Now I'm replacing and I'm defining this as an overdamp frequency, which has the influence of eta, which is my damping ratio, which values is C upon CCR. So this S1 and S2 will become minus eta omega plus or minus omega D cap. So this is the roots of this, right? Now you need to find out the solution of this particular equation, right? So the general form of this differential equation, when the roots are distinct and different, if you see this case, overdamp case, when the roots are real and distinct, when you have a differential equation, its roots are real and distinct, what will be the form of differential equation? So in that case, if you see this form from the mathematics book, then you will find the x of t is equal to e raised to minus eta omega t a cos hyperbolic theta plus b sine hyperbolic theta. This was the original form. I'm replacing this theta with the omega d cap t, since the frequency of this particular overdamped free vibration is omega d cap, which is my overdamped frequency. You can remember overdamp means higher damp, higher value of damping, and that's why I'm putting the cap which is on upper side, right? So this will be the indication that this is the overdamp frequency, omega d cap. So I need to solve this with respect to find out, you can see the value of A and B. So first what you do is you take the differentiation of this equation. So again, you have a two terms, this and this. So in the first equation, I'm defining this, I'm taking the derivation of this term will be as it is, and in the second I will take the derivation of this term, and this term will be as it is. So let us derivate this term. So minus eta omega will be the constant which will come out. So minus eta omega into e raised to minus eta omega t. So the first term derivation is over. Second term will be as it is. So I'm putting a cos h omega dt plus b sin h omega dt as it is. Then the second term I'm defining, and the first term will be as it is. The first term I'm putting as it is, e raised to minus eta omega t. Now let us define this term. So omega d will come out. So a into omega d cap. Cos hyperbolic will become the sine. So sine hyperbolic omega dt plus b, omega d will come out. So b into omega d cap. Sine will become cos. So cos h hyperbolic omega d t. So this will be the derivation of this. Now use the initial conditions. So x at t is equal to 0, which is x0. So put t is equal to 0 in the original equation. So in this equation, so e raised to 0 is 1. A cos 0 is 1. 1 into a is a. B sin 0 is 0. So b into 0 will become 0. So a into 1. So this x dot 0 is equal to a will come. So x0 value I got it. Now put the t is equal to 0 in this equation. So x dot at t is equal to 0 minus eta omega e raised to 0 is 1. So minus eta omega will come. Okay. So minus eta omega. Then in the bracket I'm putting cos t is equal to 0. So cos 0 is 1 into a, which is a. Plus b sin 0, this will be 0. So in bracket this will be a. So minus eta omega into a. Then plus this term e raised to 0 is 1. This sin 0, this term will be 0 whole term. Then this b cos 0 is 1 into omega d, right? So omega d will be there, omega d into b. Only this term will be there. This will be 1. This will be 1, right? Because cos 0 is 1. So omega d into b only will be there. So omega d into b. So find out the value of b here. Replace this a with the x0, right? So then the value of b will be this. That is x0 dot plus eta omega x0 into omega d cap. If you put the value of a and b into the original equation, that is this, then you will have e raised to minus omega t is equal to x0 cos omega dt, hyperbolic of omega dt plus value of b into sine h omega dt. In this case also you have two functions. One is the harmonic function. This is a harmonic function and this is my decreasing exponential function. And here the decreasing exponential function will actually impact much because of the value of eta here is greater than 1. Since the eta value is very high, so this term will be dominating in this particular term, as this value is having eta is more than 1 and it is having a minus power. So this particular term is having very, you can say, the high impact, and so that you can say there will not be the no responses, and you can see the response which is like a similar like this particular term. So the response will be exactly similar to this when you draw. However, the value will be different, but the graph is look like a similar, right? So this is my second case. So I'm stopping here with these two cases. Third cases we will discuss tomorrow with the same time. I hope 9:30. If you have any questions, you may actually, I'm able to actually answer. Thank you very much.